What is up, guys? It is Dan here from Guitar Talk, back with another episode of Fractal Fun. Today I'm going to take you through making a simple classic rock style preset, just like the bare bones of it, just to get you guys started, just to show you how easy it is. So I'm using my PRS Custom 22 with bare knuckle Nantucket 90s in there. I figure that is a good halfway house between humbuckers and single coils for whatever you use. I'm going into my FM9, that is going into my interface and into my MacBook, which is recording so you guys can see what I can see and hear what I can hear. So let's jump into the screen now. So you can see here we have got an empty preset, so let's just call this classic rock. And we'll start with clean. So scenes, for those of you that are new to this, are kind of like almost like presets within a preset, so you can switch between different sounds all in the same preset. So if we put together a quick chain, one input and an output, and link that up. If you are new to this, then just think of this like your virtual signal chain. So this is your cable, and obviously you want to go into an amp and into a cab. For cab, for this, I'm going to just go with the legacy cabs, and I'm going to use the good old-fashioned basket weave TV mix because I know that just works, especially for this kind of tone. Now, something, a little trick for when you're playing live, if you're playing at home in your bedroom, you just want everything, then by all means leave this wide open. But for a gigging preset, something that really helps is if you roll up the low cut and just dial out some of that low end rumbliness, so you don't get kind of mixed in, muddied down with the bass. And the same with the high cut, all that harshness, dial that out. That may look a little bit extreme, but I promise it's not. And just make that a little bit more. So that just rolls off all of that rumbliness, all that stuff that's going to get you lost with the, lost with like the bass guitar and the kick drum and all that stuff. And the high end, all that kind of fizzy stuff that's going to get mixed in with drum cymbals, all that kind of stuff. That just dials all of that out, and this is going to help you cut through and just give you a much cleaner mix. As I said, if you're playing at home in your bedroom, by all means leave it wide open. And then if we go into, let's make sure we're reset. Now for classic rock, that just makes me think Marshall kind of tones. So let's just dial this in quickly for a JTM 45 style clean tone. Let's see what that gives us. Already to me sounds really good. You've got that kind of jangliness from the JTM 45, Brit JM 45. Kind of breaks up slightly, roll off the volume. Cleans up very, very nicely. Now, what else may we want? Let's put in a little bit of reverb, and we will go with something like a medium plate. That sounds good to me. Now, this is a really cool feature that was added recently, this kill dry button. So what that does is it kills the dry signal that's going through the reverb, so you don't get like a big volume boost to mess around with where you've got two sets of dry signal going through. The reason again why I'm putting it up there is it means that you get your dry signal unaffected going straight through to your output, and then you can just kind of dial in reverb alongside that so it all sounds nice and clean. And then another reason for doing that is that if we want to add in something like a delay, which is another thing which I think is pretty useful for this kind of tone, is that it means you don't get the reverb and the delay running into each other, which washes things out. So if we go for something like a stereo Mindgeist, that's kind of like an electro harmonic style delay. It's one of my favorites that's in here. And that sounds really nice to me. I will turn the delay off for now. The reverb I might keep on, just because it makes things a little bit more pleasant. And then other than that, for a classic rock style tone, let's put a drive pedal in there. Let's go, we're on a TS-808. I mean, that is pretty classic, so let's stay with a Tube Screamer. You can see I've used this before. So drive down low, level up high. So what that does is it just kind of pushes the front end of the amp a little bit more and takes it into a naturally compressed, tighter style overdrive. So if we have our clean tone and turn the Tube Screamer on, and as well that still cleans up. I like having a little overdrive pedal there because you can, with the foot switches on the Fractal, you can switch between scenes if you want to, or you can switch between different effects. You can use them as effects on and off. So having a drive pedal in there just for a little bit of a different flavor if you're in that mood, or if your band that you're playing with has changed their sound to what they normally use and you just want to use something a little bit different that fits the mood of the night, then you've got the drive there in the background to turn on and off as you please. So that is a clean tone. Now, let's save that because I'm just in the habit of saving things so that if you accidentally mess up or if you go to another preset and go back, you haven't lost everything. Let's copy that to scene number 2. And on scene number 2, we'll call this Crunch. Now, my aim with a crunch tone is to give something that is going to put you in the ballpark of a nice kind of rock overdrive sound, but that you can kind of back off or pick lightly and have it clean up. So almost like a dual kind of tone. So if something happened like your Fractal was set up on one side of the stage and for some reason you had to play on the other side of the stage, that you could get away with most tones that you would need for the night with just your guitar and volume knob. So we are going to switch over to a different amp for this. Let's go to channel B. For channel B, let's go for something like this. Amp to me is just it's just classic rock. It just defines classic rock. So let's take the treble down a bit, bass up. This pretty much was my practice amp. I had one of the 80s JCM 800s in my bedroom with a full stack. And it was unwisely my little practice amp at home. I managed to get it for an absolute bargain. £600 for a 70s basket weave cab and a JCM 800, one of the twin channel models where you've got the clean and the overdrive on separate channels. So always got a soft spot for this. So let's go for something like that. JCM 800s always sound better when you kind of crank the master volume a bit. Keep the gain relatively low, and that to me should be about right. Plectrum. Let's take a listen to the volume between the two of them. So we want to bring the volume up of this a bit. So that to me already sounding great. So if you roll the volume off, whack it on the neck pickup. So that to me already a great sound, which kind of just does a little bit of everything. And if you want to live on that channel and you just want to use the overdrive pedal, you still got that tube screamer in the back end there to turn on, which should tighten up the sound a little bit and just push it into a bit more of a compressed sound. Some big overdrive sounds there. Those, like, to me already you've got the building blocks there of just like a great classic rock style tone. And then obviously for a lot of people that might not be enough gain. Which is understandable. So what we'll do is we'll copy that scene over to scene number 3, hit save, and scene number 3 we'll just call it crunchier, and then very simply what we'll do is we'll just turn the gain up a bit. So that kind of gets you, if you're going for like early 80s to early 90s kind of classic rock style, late 70s, that kind of stuff, across those three scenes, clean, crunch, and crunchier, that gets you the building block for that style tone, just as easy as that. Now, obviously some of you may want a lead tone, so if we go into our scenes and copy scene 3 over to scene number 4, then on scene number 4, if we call that lead, solo, call it whatever you want. If we add in the overdrive and the delay, then we should get a pretty meaty lead tone. Obviously these you may want to play around a little bit as well, so you get that sort of like boost volume jump for the solo tone. You can do that either by increasing the level here, or you can head into your output, and then if you know your lead tone is on scene 4, you can increase the tone here as well across all of the scenes. Sorry, I had to pause there while a load of sirens went by. So on the clean tone here, let's add something in like the chorus and pick something like analog stereo and turn that on, and then we get something like which can also be used if you want to go over to something like the crunchier tone to really thicken up your So you can add chorus in there, or if you want to go a little bit more Hendrixy, that kind of vibe, then speaking of vibe, let's go over to the, it took me ages to find this actually, phaser and the classic vibe, so something like a univibe pedal. There we go, chorus off. So you can add in all the pedals that you want, and again, we are barely tickling the CPU. There's nothing over the top here as well, so this should work on the FM3, FM3 Turbo, the FM9, the Axe-Fx 3. This should work on all of them. So there we go, and those effects you can assign to different effects pedals, the same as the overdrive, so you can switch those on and off as you please. If you want to use your unit like an effects board, or you can just build them into scenes and make scenes where you've got a univibe turned on with your delay and another scene where the chorus is on. It's completely up to you. Very, very easy to do. But the point of this video obviously was to show you how easy it is to put together a very quick classic rock style preset that you can pretty much go out and gig straight away. Now obviously amount of gain to taste for your style of playing, your guitar and what you're doing, and when you get it up to gig volume you may find that there's some volume differences that you want to correct, but that is all very easy to do. And I hope that's been helpful. If there's any artists you want to see me kind of like try and replicate their tone and build a preset for that, or if there's a certain song you want to see me put together a certain preset for to cover verses, choruses, all that kind of stuff, I'm more than happy to do that. Just drop me a comment below, let me know what you want to see, or drop me an email at dan@guitargeargiveaway.co.uk and I'll put it together for you. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.